What's happening, YouTube? I'm back. I know y'all ain't seen me in a minute, man. D Harfield TV, man. I'm back in the building finally. It's been a lot going on, bro. Like, so I'm about to lock in for real this time. I'm locking in, man. But first, what is up with DJ Akademiks, bro? Like, whose man's is this, bro? Like, who told him it was okay to talk to kids like this, bro? Like, what? I don't know, man. I'm gonna get into that a little bit, man. But one thing I wanted to react to was Trump, putting out the JFK files. So, without further ado, man, let's get into it. Let's get this started, man.
At 1:25, the motorcade moves into the downtown area. Death is 6 minutes away. In a warehouse, a sniper with a rifle poised waits.
This is the president was assassinated, and then the assassin got assassinated. It's like, how the hell do we not know what actually happened?
Organized crime helped silence the CIA pawn, Lee Harvey Oswald.
It was inadequate work on the part of the CIA and the FBI in terms of following up on Oswald.
I just remember my father saying, don't feel bad about these guys were rats. They double-crossed us. People in the mob hated Kennedys.
Bro, that's crazy, man. Like, it really be a lot going on behind the scenes, bro. Like, the mob hated the Kennedys. Like, that's wild, bro. A lot of stuff we don't be knowing about.
You actually went to the Dallas Book Depository and you tried to make the shot yourself, and you concluded it wasn't an impossible shot.
Nobody wants to believe.
Yo, shout out to Piers Morgan, too, man. Like, I like his YouTube channel. Like, it's always some pretty interesting stuff on there to watch, to stay informed. Yeah, I like his channel.
Believe that something of that magnitude could take place with one person. It has to be a bigger story. Regardless of what is in this next release of documentation, I don't know that it's going to end up satisfying a lot of people.
Well, amongst the blitz of executive orders unleashed by President Trump during his first week in power, one particular decree caught the eye of conspiracy theorists everywhere.
An executive order ordering the declassification of files relating to the assassinations of President John F. Kennedy, Senator Robert F. Kennedy, and the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
That's a big one, huh? A lot of people are waiting for this for years, for decades.
You know what's so crazy? Like, you gotta suspect like some type of foul play or like something not being 100% true that they put out to us if they keep it classified for so long. Like, he literally just said it, like, decades. Like, people would be waiting decades for their certain stuff to be declassified. Like, why wait so long if the story that is being told to us is the truth? I don't know. Things that make you go,
And everything will be revealed. Okay? Give that to RFK Jr.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
Well, the official narrative surrounding the assassinations of JFK, RFK, and Dr. Martin Luther King, namely that all three were killed by lone gunmen, have long been questioned by those who suspect wider involvement. That includes the man many say has been the catalyst of Trump's dramatic declassification edict, RFK Jr. Well, here's how he reacted to the news of the executive order.
You think that that's the right move to declassify those documents?
I think it's a great move because we need to have more transparency in our government, and he's keeping his promise to have the government tell the truth to the American people about everything.
Well, I'm joined to debate all this by my...
I 100% agree with that. Like, how can you disagree? I think that's a real big problem now that we're having right now in the U.S. is transparency and truth, you know what I'm saying, coming from our government. Yeah, I just feel like it's time to be truthful with the people.
three guests, each with their own unique perspective on what these declassified documents could reveal. Jefferson Morley is a journalist and historian. He's written extensively about the JFK assassination and the CIA. Michael Franzese, once a capo in the Colombo crime family, thinks the mob played a critical role in the killing of Kennedy. And the former CIA...
My boy got his chain on. Y'all see his chain? Hold on. You feel me?
killing of Kennedy. And the former CIA officer Mike Baker, who says he's not a conspiracy guy and that Oswald could have made the shot on his own. Well, welcome to all of you. Let me start with you, if I may, Jefferson. You've written a lot about this. Your belief is that the most likely theory, and we may discover more meat on this theory bone, is that JFK was killed by enemies within the United States government. And by that, do you mean the CIA?
The CIA and the Pentagon. That's what the preponderance of evidence that's come out in the last 20 years tells us. Yeah.
So explain to for those who are not as expert as you are.
That's what's so crazy about this situation is like people already pretty much know, man. Like people have been suspecting this for decades already. So I don't know.
Just explain, Jefferson, for those who have not as read as much as you have, but what are the key things that have emerged in the last 20 years that have led you to that conclusion?
Three things. One is the testimony of the doctors who tried to save Kennedy's life. These 7 doctors didn't really talk publicly until they got together in 2011, 2010. And their views are expressed on an excellent documentary on Paramount Plus called What the Doctors Saw. And those doctors who tried to save Kennedy's life, who examined his wounds in the 30 minutes before he died, said unanimously that Kennedy had been hit by gunfire from 2 different directions. So right there, that is powerful refutation of the government.
Hold on. He was hit by gunfire from 2 different directions? I did not know that. I mean, that's like kind of... That's clearly not the story that was told. Like, clearly. I had no idea about that. He was hit by gunfire from 2 different directions, bro. That's crazy.
It's already weak lone gun.
And y'all saying it's a lone gunman. How does a lone gunman shoot you from 2 different angles? I mean, I don't know.
In theory. A second thing that I think is very important, and we only learned in 2017, the CIA itself did not believe the lone gunman theory. A few days after Kennedy was assassinated, the CIA station in Miami launched its own internal investigation of Kennedy's death. They did not investigate Lee Harvey Oswald. They did not investigate organized crime. They didn't investigate the KGB. They didn't investigate Fidel Castro. They didn't investigate the aliens who were flying those drones over New Jersey. They investigated exiles known to the CIA in South Florida. And that report, the findings of that internal investigation, were never released. And finally, in April 2023, the CIA's pre-assassination file on Lee Harvey Oswald was completely declassified for the first time. Imagine that. The so-called lone gunman, his file was so sensitive that it took 61 years to totally declassify it. What does that file show us? It's not a smoking gun, but it does show that Oswald was not, repeat, not a lone nut. He was a known quantity, known to a handful of CIA officers working for counterintelligence chief James Angleton. So with that as the fact pattern that we now have, that the Warren Commission conclusion is not correct and something else happened, I think what we're going to find out is in these files that to come, we're going to see more of the fact pattern that has emerged in the last 20 years, that the Warren Commission is wrong and something else happened probably involving people in the U.S. government.
It's interesting because, Mike Baker, you are a former CIA officer. When you hear these theories that maybe it was an inside job effectively by the U.S. government, maybe the CIA were involved, do you think that's even remotely feasible?
Well, look, never say never, right? And one thing I've learned in 40 years of investigations and operations is, until you've got all the evidence in front of you, you can't rule anything out. right?
Yes.
I mean, that's good common sense. I have a feeling, though, that once they release the remaining documents, and I think people should understand that a vast majority of the documents have already been released, right? So we're not talking about a lot of records here, right? And my concern is that there won't be a smoking gun, as we just mentioned, but I think that it won't stop a variety of the conspiracy theories. I think it's going to be an unsatisfactory release, is what I guess I'm saying here. I think what it will show is
what is going to be an unsatisfactory release, meaning the truth is not. We're still not gonna be able to tell the truth about this situation. We're not gonna know the truth, bro. That's wild. What's the point? Like,
what was just pointed out was, yes, Lee Harvey Oswald was a known quantity for a reason, for a counterintelligence reason, right? He had moved over to the Soviet Union. He had lived there in an unsatisfactory manner in his mind for some time. He had traveled down to Mexico weeks before the assassination to meet with the Cuban consulate. He was desperate to prove his value to the revolution, right? So yes, he was known. And I think what the release of the documents may show, as opposed to a smoking gun and satisfy all the various conspiracy theories, is that it was inadequate work on the part of the CIA and the FBI in terms of following up on Lee Harvey Oswald.
Michael, let me ask you a question as a CIA officer. The director of counterintelligence of the CIA knew that Lee Harvey Oswald was in Texas in early November 1963. Is that an intelligence failure in your mind? Was Kennedy's assassination
that's what I mean. I think what we'll see is
that's what we've already learned.
It's apples and oranges, but somewhat akin to what we saw in 9/11, a failure to coordinate across the board, right? So the FBI,
the CIA doesn't say that, by the way.
Yeah. Bro, let him talk, dude. Like, what? I hate when people do that, bro. Let him talk. Let him get what he has to say out, and then you can respond, bro.
What's that?
The CIA, by the way, and no investigative body has ever said that. What the investigative bodies were told was, and I quote Director Richard Helms under oath, "We only had minimal information about him." Is 180 pages of material on Lee Harvey Oswald minimal?
Yeah, look, again, from a counterintelligence perspective,
no, it's not. I mean, it's plainly not.
I know. Yeah, but we got to have a conversation here where one of us only talks at a time.
Yeah. Okay.
But bro. He ain't trying to hear it. He got to get his side off. Hey, you gonna hear what I have to say in the middle of what you're trying to explain, sir. Dang, dude, let him talk, bro.
I mean, my point is, from a counterintelligence perspective, Lee Harvey Oswald is exactly the sort of person that the agency and the Bureau should have been focused on, right? And so what I'm saying
is, should they have lied to the Warren Commission about that?
Bro, let him talk. His mouth is moving while he's talking. Like, he's not saying anything, but his mouth is already moving. Like, dude, come on, bro.
Yeah, may well show that was not being done, and I think it could be embarrassing to the government, and may well have been the reason why in 2017, during Trump's first term, some of the material was kept classified.
Okay, but Mike Baker, before I go to Michael Francis for the mob side of this in terms of theory.
Oh, so he the mob side of this. He's the mob side of this, the guy with the chain. I'm trying to hear the mob side. Yeah, let's get into that, Piers.
To the Dallas Book Depository, didn't you? And you tried to make the shot yourself, and you concluded it wasn't an impossible shot. In other words, it was possible that the theory that Lee Harvey Oswald just fired this bullet that went through two people was what happened.
Yeah, look, the point being is that the shot itself was not a difficult shot, right? There was no wind. It was moving in a straight line. He had recce'd the location ahead of time. From a operational perspective, and he had sufficient training as a Marine. It's not hard to say, okay, oh my God, there's no way this guy could have made the shot. So my point is, he could have made this shot. Again, I go back to the same thing. It's like with MLK, Martin Luther King, which I think is definitely an investigation that needs to be dug into much harder, right? You can never say never until you have all the evidence.
I agree with that too. I believe that the MLK situation, I believe there's going to be a lot of stuff to come out with that one that people just did not know. Like, I can't wait to get into that one.
In front of you. So I'm not drawing a line under this and saying we know for a fact what happened. I'm just saying that the release of the remaining documents will probably not be a satisfying experience.
Right, I think you may be right. Let's bring in Michael Francis. He's been waiting very patiently. I want to tee you up, Michael, by playing a clip. This is RFK Jr.'s daughter-in-law, who is come out and said this to Tucker Carlson. Let's take a look.
And I feel something of a responsibility to get to the bottom of that, at least in my lifetime, for my children. You know, I mean, my daughter Bobcat is Bobby the Fourth, so her great grandfather was RFK, and I want to be able to look at her and for her to know whether or not her own government was involved in these assassinations, and if so, what's been done about it to make sure that that never, ever happens again, that there's never a coup like that in this country again. And I think when you look at the collaboration that was going on in those days between the intelligence community and organized crime and the mob, you know, there were very blurry boundaries.
Yeah.
Michael, you know, you said if you believe Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone, then you believe in Santa Claus. One of the big theories, of course, is that both the Kennedy brothers were, you know, thick as thieves with a lot of the mob, and that this was not a connection that should be ruled out. Explain why you think this might be one of the theories, and it may be we get more information about that if these files get released.
This is what I want to hear about.
Well, Pierce, I can only tell you what I've heard my entire life, and that was from the time Kennedy got killed. You know, people in the mob hated Kennedys, you know, and normally guys in the mob don't want to take credit for things like this. They'd rather not talk about it. Not the thugs, I mean the people in charge. People like Carmine Persico, who was the boss of the Colombo family, Tony Salerno, boss of the Genovese family, and my father, who was very high up at the time. You know, it goes back, I was 12 years old when Kennedy got killed, and I just remember my father saying things to my mother, don't feel bad about these guys, were rats, they double-crossed us, and so on and so forth. Cut to...
What? They're rats and they double-crossed us. So what type of business dealings did y'all have going on with the mob? Things that make you go, That's crazy.
To the time that I was in the life, and, you know, I heard consistently from Persico, from Tony, from my father, that what I believe it came down is that the CIA had come to, they said the CIA, people in government who were part of this assassination plot with the Kennedys, came to us afterwards and asked that Oswald be killed. Jack Ruby, I don't know why people deny that he wasn't mobbed up. He was totally mobbed up. You know, from the time he was in Chicago, he had relationships with...
Boy was mobbed up. He was mobbing, homie. That's crazy.
Sam Giancana. He had relationships with Joe Campisi, who was really the boss of Dallas, who was very close with Carlos Marcello in New Orleans. And he also had cops on his payroll. He was able to get entry into Oswald. Now, I will tell you this. What I also heard is this. And again, these people don't brag about things like this. They're talking matter-of-factly. You know, the fact that allegedly, what I was told, they had a deal with Joe Kennedy, who I know was definitely in touch with and had relationships with Frank Costello during his bootlegging days. There's no question about that. People can deny it. They can. But I've heard that my entire life, too. And that guys in Chicago were instrumental in helping many of the labor unions, you know, vote for the Democrats. Now, Chicago's a mob-run city. You know, it always was, you know, from the days of Capone on forward. And the mob played a part in helping.
He's spitting nothing but facts right now. Like, everybody know about Chicago, and what was going on back in the day. So
deliver. And that was a very tight election between Kennedy and Nixon. And the deal was that the heat was supposed to be off. What I heard afterwards, Robert Kennedy, who my father hated, my father believes Robert Kennedy was the one that really pursued him, put him away for 50 years, that the Justice Department was supposed to back off us, and instead they went on even harder. And so
he said he didn't say hated. He said he really hated him. Like, really.
I had to take a lie detector and swear to it. What I've heard my entire life from people in the know, there was definitely mob involvement in that. Jack Ruby was definitely hooked up with us. And look, that wasn't the first time the CIA came to us. I mean, they did it, you know, they tried to assassinate, what's his name? Castro from Cuba. They went to Johnny Rosella and Sam Giancana. And what about...
Do y'all hear him? Bro, it really be a lot going on, man. Like, we all be stuck in our little rat race or whatever and getting distracted by what they putting out. It'd be a lot. It'd be some serious stuff going on, man.
You know, during World War II, when they went to Lucky Luciano and Meyer Lansky for help to get the Allies into Sicily. So is it, you know, I don't believe that the United States government ever wants to get word out there that the mob had anything to do with assassinating a sitting president. So I don't know if it's ever going to be revealed, but if I had to swear to it, you know, it is a matter of life and death for me, based upon everything I heard from the right people, I'd have to say there's no doubt in my mind.
Yo, that's wow. I was not expecting that right there. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. I don't even know what to say. Like, the mob had something to do with it. And he's right. Like, I don't think y'all want that type of information out here, man. Like, that's wild. I don't know. Let me get into this. Let me get into this DJ Akademiks.
Okay, so they're going to kill us if we don't do this, but let me fill you in on the...
So, apparently he done got banned from Twitch or whatever. Like, permanently. Like, permanent ban, bro. For y'all that don't know, he was like online, gaming online or whatever in the chat, talking crazy to like a 15-year-old kid, man. Like vulgar, like sexual type stuff. Like, I don't know. This is No Jumper. I'm pretty sure everybody hip to No Jumper. Shout out Adam22. We got Brick Baby on here. I forget his name, man, but like I know exactly who he is, but I forget his name right now. I think he the dude to be at all the battle rap events and stuff. Like, I can't remember his name to save my life right now. Let's get into it though.
Akademiks accusations. So
the accusations.
The accusations is wild. So you got some crazy accusations, Ak.
Whoa, that's good. I didn't think of that. He's not even on his stream. I believe I'm getting the details right here, but he hops on Plaque Boy Max's stream.
He jumped in somebody else's stream doing that, bro. That's wild.
Or is it Plague?
Plaque.
Why do I always forget this?
Plaque.
Okay, he hops on there. Max has a mod on his Discord who's like a 15-year-old boy, like a little kid from some other country. I forget where. And they're having like a whole conversation before the part that has gone viral. And according to Ak, it's like there's a lot of trolling going on back and forth, and there's a lot of jokes being made about the level of fandom that this 15-year-old kid has for Max. So he's basically like, you know, this, like, at first, according to Ak, when I spoke to him earlier, this kid is actually saying things to Ak. Like, he's giving Ak a hard time because he's streaming, so he has his own chat. His own chat is telling him things to say to Ak. Now, obviously, you're talking about a 15-year-old kid versus a 30-something-year-old dude. It's kind of like different levels of expectation.
How old is Black Boy Mac?
Bro, I just don't get, like, as a 30-something-year-old man, bro, if you go to a chat, you end up in a chat and there's a 15-year-old in there, bro. Like, that's my cue to exit. Like, I don't know about y'all, but like, I don't need to be some fit. Oh, no, I'm saying it's online in a gaming room chatting with a 15-year-old kid that I don't know. Like, this is not my little cousin. This is not my little brother. Like, I just find that weird out the gate, bro. Like,
Max is like early 20s,
Oh, I
but
thought you said a 15. Oh, that's the fan.
The Discord mod,
Okay, cool.
basically.
And he from another country?
Okay, it was a Discord call, not Max's stream. So that's why the narrative about Act getting banned on Twitch is false in terms of it being directly related to something that he did on stream. I think it was like Twitch will ban you for like off-platform behavior if you do something fucked up. They'll ban you just to spare themselves the problems of they don't want Clorox's ads appearing next to you while you're going through a nightmarish hellstorm of cancellation, right? This type of thing. So at a certain point, Ack starts saying to the kid, "Oh, so like, would you fuck Max? Would you suck his dick?" You know, he starts saying stuff.
Would you let Max fuck you?
Bro, why would you even be discussing anything sexual, bro, with a 15-year-old kid, boy or girl? Like, it's a no, bro. It's a no-go. Like, and then you being who you are and having a platform that you got and understanding how many eyes are on you all the time, bro. Like, why? Like, what be up with? Like, what's up with, bro? Like, did you like want to have some crazy stuff going on or something? Like, I don't know. It's weird, bro.
Right, that kind of thing. You know,
but
basically,
these kids talk like that in them fucking Discords.
Right, he's riffing on the level of
bro. I understand what Brick Baby's saying. The kids do be talking crazy. I done heard them. You know what I'm saying? I done heard them before on them chats. They be talking crazy, but they kids, bro. It don't matter if they're talking crazy. They like what made him comfortable to speak like that to a kid though? Like, I'm not buying that like that. I'm not jacking that, bro. I'm not jacking that. Oh, them kids talk crazy. Like, yep, I know that. I've been knowing that for years. Ever since the video game chat started, it's been kids in there talking wild crazy, bro. Like, I done heard it all. But you a grown man talking to a 15-year-old kid about the stuff that he, like, come on. That's weirdo behavior, bro. I don't care what nobody say.
Session that this kid allegedly has for Max.
Fucking Lesh.
Right. And so then this, I believe, I personally think it's been kind of like reframed as if Ack was in any like serious way suggesting that this 15-year-old kid might have sexual interactions with one of these streamers. I think they were asking like, you know, would you fuck his sister? Would you? And the kid, to his credit, is kind of saying like, no, I'm underage, so I wouldn't fuck his sister who is above age because that would make her a pedophile, that type of thing. And so yeah, this clip comes out
and see right there, like, first of all, the conversation should have never even been going on if you ask me. But once that 15-year-old responded like that, it like he's letting you know that he's uncomfortable, bro. Like, with you talking like that to him. You know what I'm saying? About the people around him. Like, you know what I'm saying? The dude he in a chat with, the dude's sister. Like, he's uncomfortable with all that, bro. Like, chill out. Like, I don't know. I don't get it. Like, I don't know. That's just me, though.
And it's basically characterized as Akademiks is a PDF file. Akademiks is grooming this kid, etc. And there's so many people who are invested in pushing this narrative about Ack that now it's almost become like, if you aren't on board with agreeing that Ack is the worst thing.
I wouldn't say it's grooming. Like, I think y'all probably going a little too far with that one. Like, with everybody calling it grooming. Like, has Act met this kid? Has he been in this kid's presence? Like, you know what I'm saying? Have he linked up with this kid before and they done went and did whatever? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't say he's grooming the kid. Like, he probably never even met this kid before. But I know he was saying that, he was saying that he's usually in a chat with, like, he's been in a chat with him before and he like Lil Bro or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But I wouldn't say, like, it's no grooming type stuff going on. I think for you to be grooming somebody, it take like a lot more than what happened. I just think he's weird for talking sexual to a 15-year-old kid, bro. Period. Whether you joking or not, like, that's not really nothing you be joking about with, like, no kid that age, bro.
Things that you could possibly say about him,
especially the way he was saying what he was saying, bro. Like, that's not. Come on, bro. Like, the only thing you should be talking about when it comes to that topic with a 15-year-old is probably educating them on being safe, bro. Like, doing, you know what I'm saying? Like, wear some protection. Like, you know what I'm saying? Or like I don't. He was wilding, bro. Like.
Then you a 69 guy.
And you're part of it. You're covering up right now. It also is reasonable, I think, to point out that since the Drake and Kendrick thing, there's a totally different level of Akademiks hatred out there. There's like a lot of people who are very invested in taking him down.
I seen him hit a J3 card him too.
Oh, of course he's got
it. He ain't missing no clout.
And so
Brick Baby look high as a mother. He be looking spaced out, boy. I think he be high every time he on camera, dude. That's wild.
In addition to that, I think when Ack got his R-word lawsuit, we're adults, I'm not going to censor myself, his rape lawsuit, concerning this girl who said that his homies banged her and he maybe banged her too while she was blackout drunk or whatever. That came out in the public eye.
Like, you got some weird stuff on your jacket, Akademiks. I don't really like. You got some weird stuff on your jacket, bro. Like, what's up with that? You got an R-word case? Like, come on, man.
It was a thing online for a few days or whatever, but it doesn't feel like it really reached the fever.
Like, that's the thing about this internet stuff, bro. Like, we don't be knowing who these people are, bro. Like, we really don't be knowing who people are, like, out, like, offline. Like, when he ain't sitting in front of his camera and all of that, like, it's quite possible that he's on some weird stuff, bro. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know nothing about that case he got or none of that. Like, I don't know who, if he did something or who, if he didn't. But this stuff I heard with this kid, you tripping, bro.
The pitch that you would maybe expect of a rape lawsuit.
The girl was reaching. When we read the fucking, or whatever the facts were that we came across, it was like, come on, man.
I definitely saw a lot of, like, viral Twitter posts about it, but it doesn't feel like it really got the level of attention that probably a lot of people wanted it to for whatever reason.
Well, it definitely didn't cancel him fully.
Definitely. Sure. No, and he didn't lose his sponsors. He's with Happy Dad. He's got, he's not even like technically with Steak, but like Steak like Happy sponsors Dad, one of his Trump Twitter accounts. But he, yeah, exactly. Exactly. Happy Dad, which is Trump coded.
Yeah, for sure.
They're not.
Bro, that's wild, man. But that's all I got for y'all right now, man. I'm about to get up out of here. I'll holler at y'all in a minute, man. I'm back, though, man. You tune in, man. Like, share, comment, subscribe to the channel. You know what I'm saying? Help a ninja. Help a ninja monetize. You feel me? And I gotta work on my the way I say certain things, like R word, you know what I'm saying? Ninja. Cause YouTube don't play that, you feel me? Why my phone keep going off, bro? Dang. But yeah, anyway, man, D Harfield TV, man, I'm out of here.